Good morning. All right, y'all gonna have to watch me eat because I need to eat something. I gotta put something in my stomach so I can take this this anti-inflammatory medication. That's the only prescription med I'm taking right now for my knee and my hip. And y'all know, I don't know if you know, but I'm running this 10K. I'm running this 10K on April 22nd, and I'm training for it. And I woke up and my little hip flexor started twitching. I was like, oh, no. That's what we ain't gonna do. Okay. That's what we ain't gonna do. No, I have been free of that for months. And now, no, we're not doing that. So I have to eat something before I go into this office. I'm sitting right outside of my office. I'm gonna eat something and take my little anti-inflammatory from the doctor and just stretch it out. I'm gonna stretch it out. Good morning. Okay, I got somebody that jumped into it already. Yes, because we have experience in relationships. Okay. I got you. Okay. So let's get into this because we got somebody that jumped in already. Should single men be giving dating and relationship advice? How about this? Should never married men be giving marriage advice? Should men who are single now and have been single for a while be giving dating and relationship advice? Okay, for the record, good morning. Give me your first name. Give me the city, state, or country that you're coming to me from. Let's start there. Your first name and the city, state, or country that you're coming to me from. Okay, so I can get to know y'all. All right, let's jump in. So here are some thoughts that I have. And it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot because there are people out there saying someone like me shouldn't be giving dating or relationship advice. So forget the fact that I'm 55. Forget the fact that I've had 12 great loves in my life, 13 now, 12, 13. Forget the fact that I have been married, okay? Forget the fact that, forget all of that. I shouldn't be advising nobody. Even though the Bible say a Titus 2 woman is supposed to be advising younger women. A more mature, experienced woman is supposed to be advising younger women, but I digress. So, I feel like I have the Bible on my side, but okay. So you got people out here saying I shouldn't be telling you anything. Okay. Okay. She said dating advice, maybe relationship advice, maybe not. Okay. It's a couple of trains of thought here and we're going to talk about all of them. All right. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay. So that's interesting you say that. And here are my thoughts, right? When I'm thinking about this, just off the top of my head, I think single men can share about single men. They can share about single men. They can share about how men think, right? They can give their thoughts and perspective, especially based on their circle and the men that they know and themselves. Sure. I'm open to that. You're a man. You're a single man. And if you've ever dated or out here attempting to date, sure. Okay. However, if you have not been in anything long term, if you have not been married or even attempted to marry, that's a whole nother set of circumstances, y'all. Being in a long term, and I'm talking 2, 3, 4, 5 years, being in a marriage, again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 17 years, that's a whole nother ball game that these men don't know anything about. They don't know anything about. And it's kind of like, do they want to be in a relationship? Do they want to actually practice what it is they're telling other people to do? And if not, why not? So me personally, I like when single men are talking about single men. Like, that's my take on it. If you have a platform and you're talking about, here's how men think, here's how single men think, here's what men think of this, here's what single men think of that. Okay, I'm cool with it, because you are a single man. And if you're out here dating or, doing you, yeah, you're going to give a lot of insight to women, about single men and the single man mindset. So yeah, no worries at all. Okay. Rudy, married for 8 years. I've been divorced for 3 years and I live in Louisiana. Welcome, Rudy. Okay. So you have some insight into marriage. You have some insight into what it is like to be married as a man. And yes, I would accept that insight. I would say, really? Okay. And what happened? And Yeah, I would accept that insight. And again, I will accept insight from a single man about men, right? But when you start talking about what it's going to take to make the marriage work, or what it's going to take to make the marriage, the relationship long term and all of that, if you have not experienced that, if you're not currently experiencing that, oh, he said he was miserable for 7.5 years. Good Lord. Yeah. If you're not, on that, I'm like, where is this insight coming from? Here's the second thing I want to tell you. This is the second thing I got to tell you. And can I keep it real? This don't just apply to single men. In my opinion, this applies to single women too. So if you're a single woman, you're out here giving dating or relationship advice. So I'm not just going to pick on the men. A lot of what people are talking about is theory. That's, I guess, what irks me the most. Is that these people are 25, 30. Like, y'all don't want to hear this. There's a lot of people that's not going to want to hear this, but I'm going to say it. You ain't lived long enough. You haven't lived long enough to really experience life and people like that. You haven't had enough experience. And that's what irks me about some of the dating and relationship advice going around. It is theoretical. It is theoretical. You haven't practiced it. You haven't lived it. It's just conjecture. It's just something you say. Yeah, and if he wanted to, he would, and this and that. It's just conjecture. And that's the part that, as someone who's older, it does annoy me. It really annoys me, because I'm like, you have not used that in the practical sense. Like, you have not been in a 10-year marriage and actually used that advice. Like, it's a theory. It's something that, a lot of it's made up, or a lot of it's what you want to see happen, or what you think is going to happen. But honestly, you've never had any practical use with it. And so that's what makes me feel a way now about everybody like wanting to give dating and relationship advice, is there is no practical, like, I've been in 12 relationships, 13 relationships. I've been in a marriage. I've been in long-term relationships, 8 years. Like, that's not something I made up in my head. Like, it's something I lived every day. 10 years, I lived it every day. So when I share my experience with you all, it is just that. It's not a theory. It's not something I read, even though, I'm going to go here, I have studied relationships for over 20 years. I have read, I have gone to workshops, I have gone to symposiums, I've gone to talks, I have trained under a lot of the relationship and dating greats. Okay. I have studied the science of it. Okay. So understand that there is a lot of formal education in the advice that I'm giving you, but guess what? It's layered. It is layered on top of the life I have lived. And so it's like I lived a life, and then I got the formal. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what happened. It's like it all kind of came together. So my experience and my formal training, it all comes together. I had so many light bulb moments about past relationships I had been in, my marriage, because of the formal education. So one, I am irked because of just the nature of the theory. That just irks me. Young people just theorizing. They love to theorize, right? And they've had no practical knowledge of it, no real life knowledge, but they love to theorize about it. That irks me. Number 2, let's go on to number 2. There's no formal training. There's no formal training by these people. They have not studied under the greats. And I'm talking people who've written books 20, 30 years ago. There are no workshops. There are no classes. There's no formal training in communication skills, in conflict resolution skills. There's no training. So that's my second piece as a professional. I'm just like, here we go. Like we just talking to hear ourselves talk. There's no science. There's no data behind this information. It's just, like I said, people on the internet talking to hear themselves talk. So take those two things, wrap them up together. That's why I feel the way I feel. Okay. So that's my personal thought. I'm going to read your comments while I eat this. Okay. Single doesn't mean inexperience. No. But age does. Depending on how old you are and depending on how many relationships you've been in and how long they were, that does. Knowledge and wisdom still applies, doesn't guarantee a great relationship. Okay. All right. Self-certified pretenders. Huh? Ooh, y'all. Okay, thank you for buying a badge. Who was it? Let me see. Live Love TP. Thank you so much for buying a badge, sweetheart. Thank you. I appreciate you. And y'all can buy a badge. Okay? I don't say it often, but y'all can buy a badge. Okay? You can buy a badge. They just set up YouTube IG pages and just start babbling. Yeah. A lot of them. And it's like I said, what irritates me is there's no formal training. There's no reading of anything. There's no science. There's no data. It's just, it's theory. And let me say this. And this is something even I discovered. There is a lot of money in this. There is a lot of, what's the word I want to use? So not fame, but you will get a lot of attention. You'll get a lot of eyes if you're talking about dating and relationships. And this is what I find so fascinating. This is what is so fascinating to me. So I've always said this. We all need to have training in relationships. We all need to have some form of formal training. There's a book that I actually tried to make a reel holding that book up, and for some reason the title was backwards, but there's a book. It's called Safe People. It's by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. That book should be required reading in middle school, and then we should read it again in high school, and then we should read it again in college. That book is required reading. It is going to teach you how to form safe relationships with safe people. It's going to teach you how to identify the good people from the not so good people. We all need that formal training. We all do. And there's plenty of other books that I can recommend on relationships, because the truth is, guess where our training has come from? Guess where all of our training has come from when it comes to relationships? Our family of origin. So mom, dad, grandparents, aunties, uncles, whoever raised you. And can I be real with you? And I'm including myself in this. I'm not picking on y'all, because this was I've spoken on this before. Those people didn't know what they were doing. Okay? They didn't have a clue how to have a healthy relationship. My mother has been married 3 times. My father has been married 4 times. Those were the people that taught me about relationships. So if that is our training, that to me says, I need more training. I need more formal education on healthy relationships. And so we all need it. And what I find so fascinating is, because women are relational, we will reach for that. We will look for it. We'll reach for it. We'll go to the seminars. We'll go to the workshops. We'll read the books. We'll listen to the podcast. We'll watch the YouTube videos. We are relational by nature. It's in our very DNA. Men, not so much. Men will look at stuff about business. Men will look at stuff about sports. Men will look at stuff about video games. Men will look at stuff about everything, probably, but the one thing they need to be learning about, and that's emotional intelligence and relationships. And yet, it's like jumping on a skateboard, right? If you've never been on a skateboard before in your life, men will jump on that skateboard and they're like, yeah, I know how to do this. Fall off of that skateboard, break their arm, and then look, the arm will heal and they'll jump on it again, fall off it again, here we go. And at no point will they ever say to themselves, you know what, I might want to learn how to ride a skateboard. I might want to, go to somebody who knows how to ride a skateboard. I might want to get some sort of education or skill about riding a skateboard because I don't know how to ride a skateboard. I keep hurting myself. But no, the way men are built, they just going to get back up and keep going. They're not going to get no kind of education. And look, men are the ones that, they buy something and they throw the owner's manual. They throw that to the side, or they throw the directions to the side. They just wing it. They're just like, oh, I know how to put this together. I don't need the instruction manual. I don't need the instructions. That is very much a quality of men. So yeah, y'all. The bitterness and lack of life experience that comes from these men run the feminine women they are looking for off. Yeah, for sure. One of the things, this is the question I get asked the most, and y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know. Why are you single? I get asked that question the most. And the reality is this. I am an INFJ, Myers-Briggs type. I am a zany Aquarian, okay? And I am a unique spirit. Like, I am a unique, conscious spirit. I have a lot of different thoughts and ideas. I'm a very spiritual person. I'm a very intuitive person. And like I said, I knew this from long ago. I am finally coming to rest in it, which means I'm no longer fighting it. I'm no longer, I'm just finally resting in this reality. And that is, I can't be with anybody. I can't be with just anybody. I cannot be with just any man, right? It takes a very unique man for me to be with and be happy with and be contented and be, I'm a sapiosexual, be intellectually stimulated by. Like, it takes a very unique man for me. I've finally come to rest in that. I can't be with just any man. And it's a knowing. Like, it's a knowing. I will have a knowing about a man, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I think this might do. Let me try. Let me see what's going on here. And sometimes over time, it gets revealed that no, this isn't quite it. This isn't quite the person. This person's hands are not big enough to hold all of what is you, or this person's not brave enough. And let me tell you all, there are 3 things that I absolutely must have. If I'm thinking of the 3 things, okay? And it is strong. It is strong. I need a man who is strong. It is brave, and that's hard to come by. Men are not brave. Men are not brave today. They really struggle being brave, like stepping out and being brave, being strong. They're really struggling right now. We need strong, brave men who are going to do the hard thing. I need that. I can't be with a man. So bravery looks like being vulnerable. Bravery looks like saying the hard thing, having hard conversations. That's what bravery looks like to me. And men are they just don't have it. So strong, brave. There was another one. Okay. And I said it to someone just the other day. Strong, brave. And I mean, emotionally intelligent for sure. but it was something else. I'm going to try to remember. I definitely need a man who is emotionally intelligent, a man who is spiritual, and very intuitive. Yeah. So, I mean, that combination is hard to find. I found men who were strong, but not very brave, or I found men who, were emotionally intelligent, but not very strong. I found, a lot, a lot of different stuff. And very sweet men, very kind men. But again, I need a very brave man. And that's the one word that sticks out in my head that is just hard to find. Men are more scared now than ever and more sensitive than ever. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I need shoulders. I need the weight of the world, shoulders holding the weight of the world. And today's man just doesn't have that. They just don't. And you can't lean on them. You can't go to them. You can't. Yeah. Nope. So, yeah. But those are my thoughts briefly. I'm going to run in here. It's almost 9 o'clock. Those are my thoughts briefly, which is, sure, I want those guys to tell me about guys. Tell me about single men. Tell me about how they think and what they, tell me about them and what it's like dating them and what they think and all of that. But okay, he says, is it a man? Yeah. I'm sorry, but please stop saying men don't have it, because when you say men, you put all men in the same category. Say that the men you find. Okay. That's fair. But when I use the term men, so I don't say all men. I don't use the term all. I say men today are not as brave. So here's what I want you to do. This is what critically thinking people do. They don't include themselves in that. Okay? Like, don't include yourself in that. If that's not you, don't include yourself in that, because I don't say all, I say men. Men today struggle with, and guess what? If that doesn't include you, don't include yourself in that statement. I also say women today, blase blah. Okay? And again, if someone said that to me and it don't include me, I'm like, okay, that don't include me. So yeah, I never say all, because I know better than that. Yeah, no, for sure. And I never say all. I say men today. So if that don't include you, don't include yourself in that. Okay? Some women won't allow us to be that. Some women try to be the man. Again, that's not up for discussion. And this whole idea of a woman won't allow me to be a man. Do you know how that sounds? Like, really? So now somebody need to allow you to be a man? No, they don't. Don't no man need to allow me to be a woman. I'm a woman. So I want you to check yourself on that. All right, I'm heading inside. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. I thank you for buying a badge. I appreciate it so much. And you know what? We're going to chat later. Because, like I said, I want to talk a little bit more about this book, Safe People. I want you to check that out. I feel like everybody needs to read that book. But have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, stay open to love.